my sweet friends. I hope you are all doing well. Welcome to day 6 of our 12 Days of Christmas in July series. If you're just joining in, you can find links for the first 5 days at the top of the description so you can stay caught up. And if you're new around here, I hope you will consider joining my crafty little family by hitting the subscribe button, and don't forget to listen for the question of the day. For today's project, it's another special request from the peeps for a recipe folio, and I'm revisiting a base that we have created in the past, but I wanted to add a couple of extra touches to make it more practical and functional. So as you can see, we have our beautiful flip pages, tip-ins here, and then pockets that are filled with recipe cards and cut aparts. So I think this is a great way to store all of those special memories and recipes that you use during the holidays. And I think it would be really fun to pass around some of the recipe cards at Thanksgiving and collect them to have for Christmas. That would be a really nice way to document everyone's favorite holiday dish that you enjoy serving with your family. So if that sounds good to you, then stick with me and we'll make it together. For today's project, we're working with the Baking Spirits Bright collection from Simple Stories. I've got the 12 by 12 collection pack that includes that sticker sheet and then also the bits and pieces ephemera pack. So we're starting with 65 pound weight cardstock for the base, and my first piece is going to be 6 high by 11 wide and scored at 6. That way our flap page will have room alongside the binding. For my book today, I'm going to use a spiral binding, but you could easily substitute rings if that's how you wanted to bind yours. The second piece is going to be for our pocket. It's still 65 pound weight. It's 8.5 high by 7 wide. I'm scoring it at 6 and also at 6. So this is going to leave us a 1-inch section along the side, and I have indicated where I plan to cut that piece off. When I created the one I'm sharing today, I did use my guillotine cutter. I found that to be very useful to get a nice crisp clean edge. I'm going to just demonstrate with my scissor today, but you take your time and do a good job keeping this cut nice and clean and even. But you can see now I'm just taking off that portion, and then this piece here is going to become the flap that wraps around to create the pocket. I'm just going to come in and take a little bit of that corner off, and that will help to reduce some of the bulk in the back. So then I would just flip that over, and this is going to become your pocket. So when we assemble these pages, you do want to tuck in the pattern paper for the background before sealing up your pocket so that all of the inside will be covered with your collection paper. I'm jumping to the pink cardstock I've prepared now, and so I'm going to start layering on my patterns. This page is going to wind up to be the front cover, and so I'm just picking this nice overall print so that when I add my layers to it, it will be a definite layering element. So now what you want to do is keep all of your flap pages toward the outside because your binding is going to be here and you want that to function properly. One of the changes we're going to make from our original design is to include some tip-ins, and this is a really nice way to utilize your 3x4 cut aparts, and you can also journal on the back. So I would think about putting pattern paper on the back, but because this is supposed to be a working folio, it might be nice to have somewhere to add some journaling. And so I'm going to add this directly to my pattern paper before I adhere it. So the cardstock for the tip-in is 4x4 and scored at 1. And then I cut the image from the cut apart sheet to 3 7/8 by 2 7/8 So I'll get that nice pink border showing all the way around, and I'm just going to place that right along the edge of my pattern paper. And you can see that I've already added my adhesive. So I can continue to work along here. Remember, the tip-ins all have to be on the outside so that they don't get caught up in the binding. So this would be our first page. You'd have your tip-in, and you'd have your flip page. Let's go ahead and finish the inside of this. So I'm just going to mix and match all of my patterns so that I'm getting an all over print combined with a geometric, just to keep things from looking too busy. And I'm filling the inside of that flap page with the same pattern as the outside. So here would be our page, here would be our tip-in, and here would be our flip. So now we want to work on the pocket page that would be right next to it. So here is my background going into the pocket. Then I can wrap that around and secure it on the back to seal up our pocket. When we have this bound, this side will be secured on the side so that our pocket will hold all the inserts that we want to add. So the pattern paper for all the full-size pages is 5 7/8 by 5 7/8. My pocket is 2 3/8 high by 5 7/8 wide. And the flip pages are 5 7/8 inch high by 4 7/8 inch wide. I'm going to finish the back, but first I want to add my tip-in. So I've got another one of those 3x4 cut aparts, and I adhered it to the back just the same way as I did the previous one. And then I'll add that right to the pocket base. And that will be how the first two pages go with the flip page and the pocket. I have prepared the other pages for this book with the exact same measurements and the exact same process, but I just wanted to share with you how they look with all of the pages here put together. So I've got my flips, I've got my tip-ins, and then I've got my full-size pages. I have already punched for the binding on this, but like I said, you could easily substitute rings if that's what you have. Now I'm going to just show you each of these pages together. Depending on how you put your pages, sometimes your flip page will be opening toward the right, and sometimes it will be opening toward the left. Here is the last set of pages and the last pocket. So I'm just going to punch the remaining holes here and add my spiral binding, and then I'll be right back when we're ready to continue finishing our album. So here is my recipe folio, and it is bound with that spiral. I'm going to finish off the cover with the additional layering patterns. So I've just got myself more of that sweet holly, and then I use the offcut to create a border strip along the bottom. I have a die cut doily. I'm positioning it very close to the left-hand side and top of this raised section so that I'll have room for my flowers. Here is the image I picked from the collection, and I just clipped that out with a little shaped die that had a stitched edge, and I put that on a spacer. There's also an eyelet there and some twine going through. This is a good time for the question of the day. Since we're making a recipe folio, I thought it would be fun to ask, what dish do you make that is most requested for you to bring to a gathering? And so for me, that would be homemade rolls. Whenever I got my first bread maker, I started making the holiday rolls, and they have been requested every year since then. You know, down in the comments what it is that you make that is most requested. All right, now we need to embellish the cover. I've got my beautiful poinsettia here. I finished the inside with prills this time, just so that it would have a little bit of a different look. And I did add my glitter snow here and topped that with my stickles and my beautiful coral rose mini check ribbon. And that's just going to go right here along the bottom. And I'm going to add that with my hot glue, keeping all those fragile bits within the cover there so they don't become damaged. Of course, I'm going to add a couple of little charms here. I've got a little sleigh and a snowflake. I want to put that at the top here, and topping those cut strings with a button. I'm adding a couple of sequins here as well. Okay, now we can go ahead and finish off the inside. And of course, if we have pockets, we should put something in them. So I just went ahead and printed out some recipe cards. Now, if I had my life together and was better at being prepared, I would have just ordered some. I found a ton of them on Amazon, and they had so many different varieties and different sizes, so you could check on there. I just printed mine out, but definitely I would get the ones from Amazon because they come in a really big pack, and that way when you write them out, you'll have enough to do all the recipes through your different sections. But I went ahead and finished the corners of a couple of them with the ephemera pack and some of the word strips from the sticker sheet. And then I left a couple of them plain just in case you needed more room to write some ingredients. And man, if you were making something with that many ingredients, you are making something special. So I've got 4 of these to tuck down in there. And then I'm also going to include a couple of the 4x4 cut up parts. And this is another way you can add some cute pictures or something to the back. So let's go ahead and finish filling. We've got 2 more pockets here and all those fun flip pages and tip-ins. So here is the set for the next pocket. Put a couple more of our 4x4s in here. And then here is the last set. And here's a couple more cards, and that will finish that off. Now, as I mentioned, if you want to add rings, that would be great. You could just add 3 rings here and further embellish them with ribbon trim if you like that. I just thought it would be nice to have something that would lay flat. If I am reading a recipe out of here, I would like it to be easy to read when I lay it flat on the counter. So that is why I chose to go with spiral. So that is it for day 6 of our 12 Days of Christmas series. Don't forget to come back tomorrow for day 7. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to let me know in the comments and give me a big thumbs up for this tutorial. If you haven't already, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel, and remember you can find links to all our socials as well as the products I mentioned in this video in the description below. As always, I'm wishing you a happy and productive day, and I thank you so much for watching. Bye!